Hi, welcome to the virtual orientation for the Jay Flight 2.4 RBS by Jayco. We're going to start the orientation on the outside of the trailer, and we're going to start at the front. The first thing we'll look at is the front storage compartment. In this front storage compartment, we'll see we have the snap-out brackets for the unit that is used with sway control that is sold separately from the trailer itself. Just move those out of the way. So what you'll find in the front storage compartment, which is a pass-through compartment, and it also has access to the underbed storage. What you'll find in here would be the manual crank for your front electric tongue jack and the manual crank for your stabilization jack. Now the stabilization jacks are located at the four corners of the trailer. It's important to note that they are not used to level the trailer. You must level the trailer totally first and use these to stabilize after it's already been leveled. As we continue along the front of the trailer, we will come to the battery storage and propane system storage. The propane system is a dual 30-pound bottle system with a crossover regulator. And what the crossover regulator is, this handle on the regulator is currently pointing to this 30-pound bottle. So what happens when this bottle drops below a predetermined pressure, which is determined by the regulator itself and is not adjustable. So once this drops below the predetermined pressure, the regulator automatically crosses over and will draw from this tank here, regardless of which direction the handle is pointing in. Now, on those cold nights, if you're using your furnace, you don't have to get out and hook up your second bottle. It'll do, essentially the crossover regulator does it for you. So if we come just in front of the propane, we'll notice your electric tongue jack. Now earlier when talking about your front storage compartment, I mentioned your manual crank for that, the electric tongue jack. Where you use that is in this port right here. You remove this rubber stopper, and if any reason you've lost power, you can still raise and lower your tongue. Remove the plug, put the manual crank in here, and you can crank it up and down. You'll also notice we have a nice loading light. And also on the front tongue we have your safety breakaway switch. One end is attached to the pin on the switch itself. The other end is looped and attached to the tow vehicle. In the event that the RV is detached from your tow vehicle, it will pull the pin and engage your trailer brakes. Also, if your trailer brakes are engaged and you notice when you go to pull it, there's a good chance that this pin may be partially pulled. I have had it where you're doing your hookup, your hitch up, and for whatever reason this gets partially pulled and engages the brakes. Now right next to that safety breakaway switch, you'll note the solar ready hookup. This unit is pre-wired for solar power, and what that means is you'd be able to charge your battery and system with the solar panel. Continue along. We have a extra loading light at the front, which is always handy. And just to show, it is a pass-through compartment at the front. So as we make our way along the outside of the trailer, we'll come to your potable water inlet. This is where you would fill your freshwater tank. You can do so. Take the cap off. Simply insert the hose, garden hose, whatever you have, and fill up your freshwater tank. You would use that freshwater tank in conjunction with your water pump. If you're camping anywhere that doesn't have a water supply, you would fill your freshwater tank ahead of time. Then once you're there, use your water pump that's in the unit to pump water from the tank and pressurize the system. And then you can use your water like you would at home. Alright, let's work our way along the off-door side here. And what we'll come to next is your 30 amp power supply. This is what you would plug into your campground power or your power at home. Now a lot of times people will plug in their RVs at home, and often they don't have a 30 amp plug on the outside of their house. So in the trailer we actually provide you with a 15 amp block that will convert your 30 amp plug-in to a 15 amp plug-in. You may not be able to run all appliances off that. However, you will be able to run probably what you need. Right next to that, we have your main input for cable or satellite for the trailer. And directly below that, we have the output for your black and gray water tanks. Your valve handles for those tanks are here as well. Sometimes they can be hard to locate, but they are usually pretty close to the output. As we continue along the back of the trailer, we'll come to your outdoor shower. And directly above that, we have your city water connection. What your city water connection is basically the place that you attach your garden hose. So when you go to the campground or at home, screw your garden hose in here, and you will pressurize the system, and you can use water as you would at home. This RV also has a tank flush. So in order to utilize the Blackwater tank flush, you would hook your garden hose from either the campground or your house to this inlet. Now, if we look up the back, in between those two marker lights, we'll see we have a housing or camera body for a rear view camera. This is a separate purchase and is not included, but it is pre-wired for the reverse camera. And what you do is we'd install the camera body into the camera housing, and it comes with a head unit that goes into the tow vehicle, and you can monitor the back of your RV while you're on the road and driving. We also have a ladder for roof access and an outdoor kitchen. This outdoor kitchen is connected to your RV propane system via Quick Connect. And I will try to show you the connections here. So one end is quick connected here, and then the other end is secured to the propane system of the RV via this port here. Now there is a valve to open and close this port located here. At the moment, this is the closed position, and that is the open position. Once you have connected the propane line, you may use your barbecue lighter, and by turning this to the light position, use your barbecue lighter and light the flame. Next, we'll come to the outside access of your hot water heater. The hot water heater has a couple important things we need to talk about. One being the pressure relief valve. Two, the water plug. If you wish to drain the unit, you need to remove the plug. However, before you do that, open and leave open the pressure relief valve. Otherwise, when you get this undone, it's going to shoot out of there like a rocket. Directly above the hot water tank access is your fridge vent. The fridge vent must remain clear of any obstructions at all times, as airflow is needed for the proper operation of your refrigerator. And we've almost come around full circle, and we'll make note of your awning. And then either end of the head of your awning, you have speakers. These speakers can be used in conjunction with the stereo on the inside of the RV. Also underneath your awning here, you will notice we have input for a cable or satellite TV, 120 volt power, as well as a mounting bracket for a TV. That way you can enjoy TV outside underneath your awning. Let's step inside and see what other features we have. As soon as we enter the RV, we turn back around towards the door, we will see an important piece of safety equipment. That is the unit fire extinguisher. And if we just pivot around a little bit, we'll come to another important piece of safety equipment. That is your carbon monoxide propane detector. There's a button on the front that you can press. It'll make a bunch of loud beeps. Then it'll stop. This green light will come back on and stay on. That tells you that your carbon monoxide detection system is functioning properly. Directly above, we have your indication panel. And what this will show you is your battery level, your freshwater, black water, and gray water tank levels. And it'll also give you switching for your water pump. And I mentioned that earlier, that if you're camping where there isn't a water supply, you will need to fill your freshwater tank and then use the water pump on board to draw water from the freshwater tank. And this is how you would turn that on. Right next to that, we have a switch for your hot water tank on gas, and then a switch for your hot water tank on electric. Also here we have the operation of your slide and your awning, as well as the main light for the trailer. We'll turn around, take a look into the bedroom, turn on some lights. See that it is very well lit, and like outside underneath the awning, we are also prepped for an additional TV in the bedroom as well if you choose to do so on your own. We have a mounting surface as well as input for cable or satellite and a power supply for your TV. While we're in the bedroom, we'll take a little seat on the bed here and we'll make note of the emergency exit. To use the exit, you want to push down on the black tab, push the red handle over and out, perpendicular to the window or the side of the sidewall of the trailer, then push the handle all the way out of the vehicle, pull on the red handle on the screen, remove the screen, and then you can escape to safety. Now, as we mentioned when we were on the outside, we have under bed storage, and you can access the front storage compartments from here as well. On this side of the bed, you will note that we have USB charging as well as 12-volt power supply. Now as we turn and make our way to the main area of the trailer, we'll talk about a few other features. First, let's take a look at your range top. Now it's important, always open the range top, remove the glass. Don't actually remove it from the RV, just open it the way I have it here so it's not over top of the burners. You never want to light the burners with the glass top down. Also, you do not want to move or drive with your RV with the top up. So once we have the top open, whatever burner you wish to light, you turn it to the light position, and that is indicated by a flame in line with an arrow. And once you have it in the light position, you turn this sparker knob to ignite the gas. That same thing is done for all three top burners. And the same thing is also done for your oven with one additional step. In order to light the oven, you will turn it to the light position that I mentioned previously. But before you turn the sparker knob, you must press and hold in the knob to let the gas come out and then turn the sparker knob. Now directly below your oven we have the power center for the unit. What you'll find here are the breakers like you might see in your house, and they function much the same, and fuses like you might find in your vehicle. There is also a LED light that will light up to indicate that one of the fuses is not operating properly or one of the circuits is not operating properly. Instead of getting up and down here, I will show you the inside access to your hot water tank. Now you will see that I've already removed this panel. It doesn't just normally sit like this. There are two Red Robertson screws that you have to remove, and then it gives you the access to your hot water tank. Now in this hot water tank access area, what we are concerned with are these valves here, 1 and 2, as they are what you would use to take your hot water tank from a summer and winter mode, or from a bypass and utilizing mode basically. So the way it's set up now, this is set up to bypass the hot water tank. It'll merely, water will loop or liquid will loop through here and remain in the system but not fill the tank. And why would we do this? This is what you do when you're winterizing the unit, as there's a drain plug for the hot water tank itself, so you don't need to fill it with antifreeze. It would just be a waste of antifreeze. So you simply drain the tank from the outside as I showed you, and then you come in here, turn these so that it's bypassing hot water tank, and then you can use your water pump to pump antifreeze through your water lines and ensure that you are properly winterized. I will show you the water pump in a minute. Take a look at your refrigerator. It has 3 modes basically. It has an auto, an electric, and a gas or propane mode. You turn the unit on. You can cycle through the various modes. So we have electric, we have gas, then we have your auto. Now this will automatically select to use electricity if it is present, before it will choose to use propane. So if we go back, turn it off. Now when you do light this on gas, if for some reason it does not light properly or is unable to light, it will show a red light here indicating that it's not working. So what I would do is come, turn it off. From there I would make sure that the valves are open on the bottles at the front of the trailer. If they are, maybe the system just hasn't had enough time to build up pressure. So give it a couple minutes, come back in and try to light it again, and chances are it should light fine. Right beside the access to your bathroom, we have your thermostat. This thermostat utilizes a capacitive touch button. What that means is it's not mechanical, you don't have to press it very hard, it's just a light touch to use it. You can cycle through the different screens, fan, cool, or furnace. One thing I will note with the fan, if you change this fan to operate on high, it will use the blower or the fan in the reefer, the AC, to circulate additional air. So it doesn't actually blow cold air, but in order to achieve a high fan result, it uses the fan from the furnace and the fan from the AC. So if you find your AC fan coming on and it really is quite loud, you may not want to have that. If that is the case, then simply go back to your thermostat, cycle through to the fan, and make sure it's not on high. You want to make sure it is on the auto option. Now, going back to your air conditioning, you'll notice that there are some baffling on the unit itself. What this does will either, if they're open, it will allow all of the air to fall here into the main portion of the trailer. With them closed, however, it will force the cool air to come out of the ports located throughout the trailer. Take a second to talk about your smoke detector. They are battery operated, so it's important to test to make sure they work. There is a button on the front you can press and hold to test to make sure it is functioning properly. However, I usually suggest that you just change the batteries every 6 months, same as you do for your house. Every 6 months with daylight savings time is the easiest way to remember. And as we talked about with your propane detection and carbon monoxide detection and testing that, I usually suggest that when you change the batteries in the smoke detector, you test your carbon monoxide propane detector. Makes it easier to remember. We'll come to the stereo system of your RV. This offers Bluetooth, HDMI, auxiliary connectivity, as well as DVD, and a 5-volt USB charging source. In addition to DVD or playing sound from your TV through the stereo unit, you can also use this to play sound on the speakers located in the awning that I mentioned earlier. In order to do that, the stereo does is breaks it up into zones. Zone 1 is on the inside of the trailer and zone 2 is the outside. You can turn both zones on at once, you can turn both zones off, or you can have zone 2 on but zone 1 off, any combination you desire. That way, if you want to sit outside, you can put some music on from the stereo in here. And if someone's taking a nap, you can turn the zone 1 off, but turn zone 2 on, and you can listen to music outside while somebody happily naps. Okay. Gonna take a look inside your bathroom here. The switches are located just inside the door on the right. This is where you'll find the GFCI for the trailer. Now, if you ever see the red light on your GFCI like that, that would indicate it's been tripped. And when it gets tripped, anything on the load side of your GFCI plug will not function. There will be no electricity to it. Most notably, the counter plug or your outside plug, the plug under your awning, and there's no power there. I'd first come in and check this to see if that red light's on. If it is, press the black button at the top above the red button there, and it will reset that GFCI. And then you can go back and check the power at the plug that was not working previously, and it should be working at this point. Now, if that wasn't the issue, you can go back to your power center and check your breakers and fuses. Let's turn back around, and I had promised you that I would show you the water pump, and I shall do that now. So your water pump is designed to draw water from either here, which when drawing from here, so when the valve is in this position, it's going to draw from your freshwater tank. Or if you want to put it in winter mode, you turn the valve handle to this position, and it will draw from the fill tube, which can be used to winterize your trailer with antifreeze via that fill tube. That concludes the virtual orientation for your new RV. I hope you found it useful and informative. Feel free to give us a call, and we'll be happy to help you as best we can. Thank you.